We are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 110, where we discuss recent K-pop news and events, have a visit from Cousin Harold, and give you the state of the nation. Let's get it. Alright, this week we have only 3 songs, but there is so much news that happened in the world of K-pop this week. It's ridiculous. Let's get into it. The biggest story, I think objectively, was we're titling the section Irene apologizes for her behavior. Alright, so this is a very volatile situation. We will try to remain as objective as possible. Let's get into it. On October 22nd, an Instagram post was uploaded by a veteran editor and stylist of 15 years, Kang, in which they spoke about an incident with an unnamed celebrity. The post began with a reference to the infamous nut rage thing that happened back in 2014, where the heiress to Korea Air went on this rampage over nuts on an airplane. So it's just showing how crazy the situation was. They then stated that while this was the first time they had met this celebrity, a reputation had been built of being difficult to work with. In the post, they described a 20-minute encounter in which they were brought to tears by the celebrity's harsh words and humiliation in front of a bunch of other people there. Additionally, Kang stated that they wanted an apology during the incident, but the person left, and they also recorded the entire saga that happened. So that's a big kicker here. The post concluded with the hashtags psycho and monster. This and the deletion of a 2014 post complimenting Irene's visuals led many to speculate that the individual mentioned in this post could be either Red Velvet's Irene or Seulgi, because they are promoting as a duo right now. You know, sometimes when we get accusations like this, we are really confused for a long time as to like who it's involving, is it credible or not. But later that day, Irene personally admitted that she was the idol mentioned in the post through a public apology to the stylist. SM also issued an apology and stated that Irene met with the stylist in the afternoon and apologized in person. The SM statement, quote, this is an excerpt from it. Our agency feels responsibility for this incident, and we do not forget the hard work of all the representatives and staff who work together with our company and our artists. We will work hard so that this does not happen again to the people we work with. In the wake of this post, many in the industry, including those who are close to SM and Red Velvet, came out in support of the stylist. And of course, this does not prove that this is any further than an isolated incident. And a lot of these people, their support of the stylist was simply liking that post. But at the same time, it is some food for thought. All right. This is a bad situation, right?
It's tough. It's a very tough place to be in.
Like, all right, this is how I see it. Objectively, Irene has come out and apologized for whatever happened, right? We don't know the full details. We don't have the recording, whatever. Because she admitted it was her and she apologized and SM apologized, it had to be serious, right? If it was not that serious, I don't think they would have apologized in the manner they did and as quickly as they did. Additionally, this is not condemning Irene, but on a personal level for me, when you encounter people in your life who are in what I would call service positions, people who are doing something for you, whether it's like the maid at a hotel you're staying at, the waitress at the restaurant you're eating at, or the waiter at the restaurant you're eating at, someone doing your hair, someone doing something for you. I think it says a lot about a person, about how you treat those people, because in that moment they are serving you, right? So you are on a social standing a tiny bit above them, I think, objectively, in that situation. And it says a ton about who you are as a person as the way you treat those people. Now, I'm not going to condemn Irene because obviously I don't know the extent of what is going on, but let's just say it's a terrible look, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I was kind of paying attention to how the netizens were kind of reacting to this real time. And it was generally some people were very negative. Some people were kind of defending her stance. I think there's a lot to be said about the kind of... there's a lot of duality to this. Like, it's not a simple situation of, oh, she has a bad personality, criticize her. No, there's people are three-dimensional. They have different sides to their personality. It's very possible that she might have been going through a very bad day that day. It's also very possible that she might have been, treating people with a very negative connotation for a long time. We don't know. And I think it's our job as fans and not like people in the industry to kind of stay out of that. I saw a lot of people making weird guesses as to what the situation was like, and the stylist in question had to come out and make another statement saying, "No, I was not bribed. No, that they that was not happened. This was not happened. I was not like a part of SM. I was a part of like a magazine shoot, that kind of deal." And she was like, "Oh, like." This person was like, "Oh, like I expected people angry comments, stuff like that." But just don't be a nice person who takes things to a positive direction. Don't just blatantly criticize people.
I think what you're also trying to point at is we don't know exactly what happened. So in either direction, you shouldn't just blindly defend Irene, nor should you blindly condemn her, because we have no clue what actually happened.
Right.
I think it's ridiculous to try to objectively make decisions personally about, like, you could say, yeah, if it's true, it's terrible, obviously, right? But like, I don't think it's for our place to pay like, she definitely did this, she's a terrible person, GG, or to be like, she did nothing wrong, she's an angel, these people are lying. Those two directions are two extreme directions, and we honestly don't have the information to lie on either of those opinions.
Yeah. That is very well worded, Douglas. Thank you. My speaking was all over the place today.
No, I got what you were saying. That's how I felt too, because I was reading comments and like there was both directions, and I'm like, guys, we don't know. And honestly, we probably shouldn't know, because like it's not our place to. We're not entitled to that opinion, like that information. Honestly.
Now, to give a little bit of context, this has been the word people have been using is called 갑질. And that has a very specific connotation, which goes back to the whole nut situation with the airplane situation, where like 갑질 means like when a person that is like maybe above you superior, is treating the person the person that is not superior very harshly, inferiorly, and that kind of points to a lot of problems with the Korean society right now, and how like certain people have more rights than other people. That's something we want to avoid. We're all equally creative people.
Anita, do you have any comments?
Well, I feel like I also was kind of keeping up with like reactions and I guess general perspectives from, I guess, more English speaking fans. And I do feel like what Warren mentioned, that there has been some sort of division of either people very much condemning Irene for her actions, which we are not sure exactly were, or very much supporting and saying like, you cannot tell that she's actually mean, or she was actually being like this kind of person to this stylist, like it could be a lie, like I don't know, like basically defending her, right? And I feel like it's a dangerous place to be on like extremes, like completely being against her, or completely being in that camp where you're defending her without really knowing the facts, right? Or even with knowing the facts. So I feel like because we are just the audience, right? We weren't there. We're not directly in touch with the stylist or the artist, so we can't really make a good judgment. I would say. Right. Yeah. So I think we need, like, yes, it's not good to be having this kind of situation, but you should also just remain as fans, right? Remain more in the middle, right? Because it's not. I don't know. It's difficult.
Objectively here, though, it's like something happened. She admitted it was her. She apologized. I think it's completely fine to be disappointed in her and her actions, because clearly she did something bad. And clearly she, if you think about it, this person's a veteran of 15 years, which means most likely she's older than Irene too, I would say. So that has a lot of other connotations in Korean society about talking down to someone who's older than you. That's a big no-no in itself. All right, so if you're watching on YouTube, clearly we're recording this on a different day. It's the day after what you've been watching so far. You know, we really talked about this Irene story a lot after the podcast was recorded, and we came to the conclusion that Warren and Anita felt like they left some things unsaid. So we're going to do a special one-time insertion into the podcast. So let's let them have at it.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday when I spoke, I was listening back to the recording, and I really just felt like I was giving context and describing what happened rather than actually talking about how I felt. So I kind of wanted to add on to that a bit, right? Because as a person who likes the music that comes out of Red Velvet, it is a very, very much of a disappointing situation. It really is at the end of the day, because I do want to enjoy music from musicians I respect. And this kind of falls out of that category a little bit. You know, just literally this morning, LP by Red Velvet came on because that's on my playlist. And it kind of hit me in a different way. So, I mean, going forward, I can't say for sure that I will be enjoying the music from Red Velvet in the same way I did before this happened. But at the same time, she did apologize. I do hope that this is like a nice learning experience, and that that she improves from this, and you know, one day maybe we can start getting another nice Red Velvet comeback that everyone's excited for.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it's like an initial impression to a reaction like that is like, oh my god, you're just canceling Red Velvet, right? But at the same time, he's clearly like, I don't think Warren's trying to like do that, and even if he was, I think you're entitled to that opinion, because you know things change, right? There's certain people, public figures that you might just not like, and you don't consume their content. And honestly, I don't think it's anyone's right to more or less force like anyone, including Warren, into listening or enjoying something to a certain extent. But
right. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna stop listening to Red Velvet all of a sudden. Like, they're still gonna be on my playlist. I'll still check out their new stuff.
But it just hits different, you know. Just
it does.
All right, Anita. What did you wanna lay out there to the audience?
Yeah, well, I kind of want to expand more on a comment that I remember mentioning yesterday on the recording, which focused more on like trying not to be on extremes, on either blindly defending or condemning Irene, because I didn't get to mention this, but I think it also goes for the Stylist. I want to emphasize overall that I don't think anybody should support promoting or sending hateful or threatening messages to either party, because I don't think it's conducive to anything. But that doesn't mean that it's not something that people should have an opinion on, because I think the issue I think people can relate. They can have their opinions based on real life experiences. So definitely it's good to have discussions about this, but not with the mentality of trying to tear people down and like get like this hate going around in the cycle, because I don't think it's good. Also, like, just stating like my own personal opinion on the whole situation and how I view like the people involved, Irene specifically. Like Warren mentioned, it's disappointing, but to me, I feel like it was a bit more concerning because the person in the wrong is such a public figure, like, as a profession, right? So because of that, there will be fans or just people in general who look up to you, and I don't know, it's just trying to be more self-aware, I guess. And yeah, just basically, I hope that it's a situation where she can grow as a person. And yeah, I think my main message that I wanted to make clear was that I don't think people should be hateful or threatening directly in any way to the Stylist, of course, and to Irene. Yes, she was at fault, and she's facing consequences for this, of course, but I don't think it's called for to go to that extent at all.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, it took us. It was a lot of debate as to whether we were going to insert something into the episode. We stayed up really late. Like, you know, I'm an old guy. My bedtime is like 10:30 right now. We were up past midnight discussing this. And at the end of the day, we want to be clear with the audience, you guys, the SojuTalk Nation, of our opinions. And we honestly feel that although we are trying to inform you about how we feel, we also don't want to be misrepresented in what we say and how we feel. All right, and with that, let's go back to the regularly recorded podcast. So shout out to Past Us. Bye, everyone. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens, because obviously the public perception of her in Korea itself is horrendous right now. Like, it's going to take a lot. Let's just say that. Overall, I think it's a disappointing situation because, like, I think as people, we should try to treat everyone as equals. And
exactly,
this kind of situation is not a good look. Let's move on, because this has implications for the next thing. So SM's new girl group was announced this week.
Yes.
So on October 26th, SM officially announced that their new girl group, we're still trying to learn how to say this, but we're going to go with like Aespa or Aespa. Aespa. Let's go with Aespa today. Will debut this November. The name Aespa combines, there's a letter that's a combination of an A and an E. We don't have it in English in our alphabet. It's a weird word, but that AE is derived from Avatar X Experience and the word aspect. Various innovative activities to come with the theme of experiencing a new world via the encounter of the avatar, your other self. That's what SM said. I don't know what they're going with there.
What are they on?
Additionally, teaser photos for the first member, in quotes right now, Winter, were also revealed. Winter might not actually be her name, but it was the primary hashtag used in the post in both English and Korean. This is the first time SM has debuted a group since... Why did I write that? Okay, I wrote completely the wrong
NCT.
thing. Since NCT in 2016, or their first girl group since Red Velvet in 2014. All right, let's. Okay. Aespa does not have a lot of fans yet. I'm gonna clown on the name a little bit today. Let's just say that. When I first saw this name, I was very tired at the time. I was trying to figure out how to say it. I'm like Aespa. I'm like Aespa. I'm like Aespa. Are they talking about a bidet over here? A spa for your ass?
What? No.
And then I thought of the greeting. Why clean your butt? 안녕하세요 Aespa.
No.
I was really delirious at the time.
Oh man.
And then Warren sent me a photo of a Vespa, the scooter thing. Like, we were clowning, y'all. It was a bad look.
I mean, like, I hope the name grows on me.
Additionally, my other problem is we put this character that, like, English speakers don't have on our keyboard. So I think eventually the search will just be a separate A and an E. But, like, it's interesting to choose a weird character that not everyone has access to on their keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, for search purposes, yes, it's a little bit more difficult. But for aesthetics, I feel like it makes sense to me, I guess. Like, it looks interesting, different enough.
I also don't know how I feel about this name in general. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Aespa.
I don't know.
The teaser photo looked a little strange too. It was like all silvery and metally. And then we saw the teaser photo and we saw this member Winter, like, she was there. They had a lot of glamour shots with her. Her name might not be Winter.
No,
and then
her name is Winter.
Anita had a take, which was so interesting.
Oh yeah.
Anita was like, they're talking about Avatar and Experience. Anita was like, what if this Winter person doesn't actually exist and it's a computer generated image?
Vocal Line Group, here we go!
The rumor that I had been hearing about, actually, from yesterday, I think, when more information was being released formally, was that based on like the theme of the name, right? Like the Avatar X Experience in the AE derived from the name. So it kind of made it seem where, like, they're including this idea of the avatar, the self in technology, right? So I feel like it made sense to me, like, oh, maybe they're gonna go for some sort of concept where there is an other them, where they are like a virtual self, right? In that term of like an avatar in a game, right? Something like that. And I feel like it's possible. I feel like SM in general has been going a lot with tech-based,
They have. That's true.
concepts recently. So
Neo-culture technology.
exactly,
Wow.
NCT being the primary example, and also the name, right? The Aespa, the AE character that is all together. It was teased at the end of the Super M
Yes, the
music
end
video.
of the Super M, the logo, like a bit of the logo, the A and the E was in the end of the Super M
Correct.
video.
Right, and it was portrayed in this phone. I think it's a phone.
It was
right?
a phone
So I
type
feel like
device. Yep.
It's
Oh,
kind
the
of
LG, yeah.
yeah, making that allusion to like technology and stuff like that. So I think they're gonna push for that, and it might contain that other self aspect to it.
So that phone was a real phone. It's on sale now. Shout out to LG. I forget what it's called, but it's a real phone. I understand that they're going for the tech where, future tech,
Yeah.
revolution, virtual. I feel
What is going on?
What?
Virtual tech.
it kind of feels like if you look at late 90s K-pop,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
late century, like 2000
Late century. Woo.
future, like
Millennial.
yeah, it's like future, like
Future,
like
yeah.
it's like a don't you get it? It's like a retro like feature. It's not like
Okay.
feature. It's like retro future, but like future.
Do you think? I feel like it's very like future, not really retro.
Okay, I'm looking at this winter person's photo. I hope it's a real person.
I'm a real girl.
And you know what it reminds me of?
What does it remind you of, Lauren?
I don't remember her name.
Oh.
Lee Jong-yeon, 정현
정연. Oh, 정연 Lee.
설마 했던 네가 나를 보내버렸다.
So there's if you watch like Korean Variety or look up old K-pop, there was like a famous song called "Wa," where she has a fan and this microphone on her fingernail.
Yes.
It's some scenes,
Pinky
y'all.
fingernail.
Pinker fingernail. I can't even speak. Fingernail, and she like dances and sings into her fingernail. It's supposed to be like what the future's gonna look like or what they thought it might look like back then. I guess I see what Warren's going with that.
It was called "Wa" by
Yeah.
정현 Lee.
Yeah, go look that up.
Oh.
Yeah, these photos though kind of look like the movie Avatar though, a little bit.
That,
Like,
that's what I'm thinking. Like it
they
might be like
all
a
have-
representation of them.
Who knows? By the time you're watching this, we might get like fall and winter and summer as well in this
Yeah,
group.
that's
You know?
true.
I don't know if they're gonna go with the seasons too as the names. Who knows?
If they
Four of
literally name the members winter, fall, summer, spring, like I don't know how I feel about that. So it's
I think it
just,
could work.
I mean, we could do an Oh My Girl and get a 5th season up in here too. You know,
Oh.
that's a reference. Overall, I know I'm clowning on the name. I bet you by the time they come out, I'll be the biggest Aespa fan. But just know, you will always think of bidets when you see this group now.
I will not. I know I will not.
Just throwing that out there.
I am forgetting you mentioned that.
Doug will never mention the bidet joke again. I will mention it the next time we have their joke.
I'm sorry about
No.
my like the accents I do, but like I was like Aespa. I was like, oh god, like that's what happened.
Can they ride Vespas for their music
I
video?
know,
please?
right? Overall, though, I think
Why are you owing this? That's
the big picture, obviously, because of the Irene situation, which was the previous news segment. I'm going to guess Red Velvet's going to be on the shelf a little bit. At least Irene in particular. I was looking forward to finally a Red Velvet as 5 again because Wendy had the situation, and then we had the injuries that happened to her, and then we had the Irene Sogi thing. Yeti has been doing her YouTube show that's been successful. I think it's a bit of a shame because the last song we got as 5 was Psycho, and that was a monster hit. It's just that they released it during the winter break essentially. So they couldn't get a full promotion streak out, and then Wendy got injured. So I was expecting a Red Velvet as 5, so that's a little bit of a shame. But I think all attention now is going to be on this new girl group. It's a big deal. When SM releases anything, it's a massive deal because they're one of the culture makers in K-pop. Whatever they do, people pay attention to, emulate, try to reproduce. This might be groundbreaking. This Avatar experience aspect thing that's gonna happen.
It's exciting.
Who knows? The honestly, I know that SM and other companies have been investing in tech. anything
Yeah.
could possibly happen, right? It's gonna be nuts. All right. I apologize to in the future to this group and the connotation I've given them. It's a joke.
People are gonna like find all the episodes where Aespa was mentioned in and come back to this episode, and they could be like, "Why?" Like,
Yeah.
bidet.
That when I say they're like my favorite girl group in like 12 months, I'm sorry.
We'll bring it up forever.
Let's move on to the next segment. This is a bit of an oof. Accusations against Got7's Youngjae. So on October 20th, Got7's Youngjae became wrapped up in school bullying allegations after an anonymous netizen raised the issue through a post on an online community. The anonymous netizen, who we'll be calling A, claimed that they were classmates with Youngjae at Mokpo Technical High School and have hearing and learning disabilities. A went on to accuse Youngjae of acts of bullying such as hitting, stealing of possessions, etc. So those are very typical bullying things in Korea. JYP in response said, quote, "We are currently looking into the situation and will release an official statement once facts have been confirmed." A follow-up statement from them, which was released later, stated that Youngjae was involved in a physical altercation with their former classmate, but that the rest of the claims were false and that they were seeking to contact the accuser. The following day, a final update was given by JYP in which they stated that they had met with the individual who brought up the accusations against Got7 Youngjae and that no evidence was provided. The original post has since been deleted, and JYP announced that they will be taking strong legal actions, not particularly against this guy, but against all those spreading malicious rumors about their artists. So, TLDR, someone who went to high school with Youngjae, who might have some disabilities, that's not even confirmed yet, said that I was getting bullied by him. Youngjae admitted, yeah, we had a physical altercation. I'm assuming they fought each other, but he's saying, no, it was mutual. We had a fist fight. It happened, right? And he's basically saying that this person's construing what happened into me bullying him, when in fact it was just a fight that happened in high school. I'm happy to see that JYP took the time to find out exactly what happened, or as best they could, before getting a side on this. It seems to me, because of the way this has ended up, there has been no follow-up since then, that it was honestly someone trying to overstep as to what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad this is how. I'm glad it turned out to be like a positive situation where like a lot of the allegations are cleared up. One thing that stood out to me was how quickly things moved along.
It was like within 24 hours, all of this was settled. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, damn. Like, as a company, it's not easy to do that. Like, because they have like other stuff they're already working on, and then this explodes. Like, come on, like that's a lot of work. So I really want to compliment JYP on that. That was incredible. That was really quick, really fast, really to the point, and they just dived in, got it done, dived back out. Look at these guys. They're like agents. JYP agents. They're literally an agency. I'm tripping. Stop me.
One thing this story got me thinking about was just how fragile the careers of a lot of idols and people in the entertainment industry is. Because, like, one claim, regardless of if it's false or true, gets people thinking, right?
That's
like,
true.
there are probably people who don't care about Got7 or care about Youngjae, don't care about K-pop in Korea, who opened up the entertainment section of the news because maybe they're watching a drama or something, and they probably read about this. And if they don't know better, or if they didn't read the responses, they might have been like, this kid at this big company's bullying a disabled person, right?
Right.
That, like, it's not great, especially if, like, who knows exactly what happened, but it doesn't look great. Let's say it was literally just a fist fight that happened. People in high school get in some scuffles, it happens, right? People have hormones going on. They like, you know, people just get angry at each other. Things happen. If it's just that, and to be accused of bullying someone, those are two totally different things, right? And the implications of being accused even isn't great for him. Like
Right.
him being accused of this, him not being accused in this are two way different things, right?
I mean, the good thing about yes, it's just a very fragile, a very dangerous place when you are a public figure, right? Because public
for
perception can really be swayed very easily depending on the connotation of what's being reported, who reports it, stuff like that. But I feel like, well, at least I see it with this example, right? And I hope this is the case all the time. But the truth eventually has to come out. Like if someone is innocent, I would hope that the evidence is there and they are proving innocent against this accusation or any accusation. So I hope that no matter what it is, like if the artist has truly been in the right, like if they know what really happened and they can prove it, and hopefully it doesn't take much more than that. But I don't know. I feel like the justice, right, of if the artist is truly in the right, like it can be proven, and then the public perception will not be affected as much.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's case by case is difficult depending on who's involved, what was said, what was done. But if it is in the right, I think it should come out. It should be cleared.
That's a very optimistic way to look at it, Anita. You're
Yeah.
essentially saying that justice wins at the end of the day.
I mean, that should be the goal, I think.
I also want to say that I think that the information should come out not for us, but in order to clear their name. I think those are two very different things.
Yes.
Because I don't
For
think,
that
honestly,
purpose.
we should be entitled to know a lot of these things, but it comes out because it's already public. And I think those are two very different things, being that, should I know exactly what happened back then? Probably not. But do I want what happened back then to come out to clear his name if he did nothing wrong? Of course.
Yeah.
All right, quick takes now. There's a gajillion of them. The first one. Blackpink's The Album became the first K-pop girl group album to sell over 1 million copies.
Wow.
If I understand
Wowzers.
correctly, like second, third, fourth place are all in the 600,000s, and this is over 1 million.
Yeah,
That
that's a
jump.
pretty
That
big
is
jump.
a game-changing album, whichever way you look at it. Additionally, in other YG news, Dalcomsoft announced Superstar YG, so the mobile game, and pre-registration began today on October 26th. For reference, I am not playing Superstar Ice1 anymore. That was like a month-long thing for
Oh,
me.
it was a long time ago. Yeah.
It's
okay. I'm not playing
addicted.
Superstar
I'm addicted to
Golden
other
either.
things. All right. Next, K Contact Season 2 totaled over 4.4 million viewers over 10 days.
Whoa.
It's a lot of views. I don't know what their subscription numbers were, but that seems like a lot.
Yes.
Next, the AMAs announced their nominations for this year's award show, with BTS being nominated for Favorite Duo or Group Pop/Rock category and Favorite Social Artist. Additionally, NCT127 and EXO were also nominated for Favorite Social Artist.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Next, CM Blues, Younghwa, Minhyuk, and Jungshin have all renewed their contracts with FNC Entertainment. The band is set for a comeback before the end of 2020 with an album, and the group will have a reality show on TVN. That is kind of intriguing because if y'all remember, one of their members was involved in the Seungri Burning Sun phone stuff
Yep.
and is out of the group, so we have 3 left. My feeling is that they are probably doing this reality show for PR purposes to separate themselves from that guy. We might even see a look into the window of what that was like being involved in that whole situation for the group.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Next, Pentagon will hold their online concert. I think it's Live or Love. It's a L with a colon and VE on November 29th, and EXID Solji will hold solo concerts on December 19th and 20th. All right.
Nice.
This next one I'm kind of excited for. The upcoming group Stacy, I think it's literally called Stacy or something like that,
Oh.
produced by Black Eyed Pilsung, will make their debut on November 12th with their first single, So Bad. This
Okay.
is, I'm so interested as to how this is going to be, right? Like,
So Bad kind of sounds like a cookie cutter girl crush track. Just by that
Might
name.
not be.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I hope I'm blown away.
yeah. All right, next one. Henry Law
Oh.
became the next artist to officially join Weverse today on October 26th. Everyone joining that Weverse, dude. Like,
Yeah.
It's the new thing. Get on
it's the
it.
new thing. In terms of joining platforms, Everglow joined the live streaming platform Twitch and
Oh,
had their
man.
first stream on October 23rd. In the same week, we had AOC, who's a politician in the United States who's very popular, and we also had Everglow join the platform. That's like
Yeah.
crazy worlds joining it, right? It's crazy.
Man, yeah.
Sad news for Anita. Very Very's Michan will be taking a temporary
Minchan, yeah.
hiatus. Minchan will be taking a temporary hiatus due to anxiety, and G Idol Sujin will be missing some schedules due to a sprained ankle. We hope for their
feel better
recovery.
soon.
Yeah.
Next, this is a bit of a news. Boy groups Ace and only one of underwent COVID-19 testing as staff from both groups tested positive for the virus.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Luckily, though, later we had an update. All members tested negative for the virus in both groups, so
Whew.
that's good. But they're still
Okay.
they're gonna quarantine for 2 weeks though.
Yeah.
Lastly, the appeal trial for the Produce 101 vote manipulation controversy ended with the Seoul High Court ruling to uphold the sentences of the staff involved. PD An and CP Kim will serve 3 years, an assistant director with the last name Lee will serve 2 years, and 5 other staff members will serve 1 year sentences. I know
Goodbye,
those I know those amounts don't seem a lot. They aren't. Like, if you base it on the American penal system, that's not a lot of time, right? In Korea, those are pretty long sentences, though, I would say.
They're not short, yeah.
For white collar crimes, right? Those are pretty
Yeah.
long sentences. I don't think they could ever serve enough like time based on how much they ruined the industry and the perception of a lot of things in the industry. But at the same time, I'm happy that some form of justice has been served in this
Yes,
situation.
I agree.
Agree.
It's taken almost a year if we think about it since when this broke to now.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Full year.
It good riddance. It's kind of crazy how in this situation a lot of people have been saying that CJ kind of like got off clean. They kind of have. They were able to hold like Road to Kingdom, although we like that show. They were able to hold that show. They were able to hold Island without like any real big problems.
I mean, you know.
Still leaves a bad taste in my mouth though towards CJ overall. Yeah.
Hope things change though. for the
CJ
better.
and Mnet in particular. But we're now at comebacks and releases. It's gonna be ridiculous next week. Warren, hit us with them. It's crazy.
October 27th on Tuesday, we have CIX, Paul Kim, and the pre-debut of T1419. On October 28th on Wednesday, we have KDA, the debut of P1 Harmony, and the debut of Drippin', as well as Super Junior KRY and JBJ95. October 29th on Thursday, we have CL. On October 30th, Friday, we have Mino solo. November 2nd on Monday, we have AB6, Monster X, as well as Hong Jin Young in other confirmed release news. We have another CIX on October 27th. 볼빨간
Oh wait, no, that one's the one that was above there, so you could skip that one. Sorry.
Okay, CIX only has one song coming out for a while. I lied. That's okay, because 볼빨간 사춘기 Bol 4 has November 4th. Secret Number on November 4th. Treasure on November 6th. Pre-released from Super Junior. November 6th. 하성운, November 9th. Elast on November 11th. Stacy debut on November 12th. Very Good in November. And Super Junior confirmed for sometime in December.
Yeah, Anita, you're getting a full Super Junior album in December. Yeah.
Ooh.
Man.
All right,
I'm
let's
looking forward
address
to
let's
Good time to
address
be an
next.
elf.
Let's address next week. God.
Alright.
We will probably be covering as the songs at the front of the show: CIX, KDA, CL, Mino, AB6, Monsta X. It's gonna I would say those are probably the songs that are most likely, right? There are 3 debuts. The pre-debut of T1419, that teen thing where they don't actually have names is kind of crazy. P1 Harmony and Drippin'. I think basically what we will decide to do is we will talk about the rookie guy groups plus the other ones. There's in Hypin, and I think that there's one more that I'm forgetting the name of right now. Let me look at. No, she's not a boy group, dude. That confused me for a second. The other one is called, I wrote it down here, Bae173. That's the one with Hangyul and Do Hyun in.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So there are 5 boy groups debuting in the next couple of months. I think what we will do is make it one of the news sections, and we could briefly talk about some of the songs and those groups in general.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair
Yes,
compromise because there's no way we're gonna cover 8 songs. Let's be honest here.
Yes.
It will take too much.
Yeah. So that's most likely what we will be doing. So just know we will be covering those debuting groups in some form or capacity next week. All right, we are at hot takes, fuego questions, and now salty statements with Hot Take Harold, which we added in last week. So I'll go get Cousin Harold, and he will give. It's a take this week, I believe. So I will go get him.
All right.
Harold the man is back with the take. Wonder what he's doing up nowadays. You know, it's Halloween season. Is he going trick or treating? Probably not. It's COVID season as well, so you know,
The weekly take is the skill level of the worst member is more important than the skill level of the best member. Boom. We all know who the worst member is here.
And it's you!
Oh no, Harold.
Reversal. Look in the mirror, bro. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Harold. I'm still a nice person. I say goodbyes.
All right, so the hot take, I guess, is the skill level of the worst member is more important than the skill level of the best member. That's a bit of a take. Initial impressions, y'all.
I mean, skill level of the worst member.
I agree.
I guess. Oh, okay.
I agree
Very
wholeheartedly. Sorry, Anita, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I feel like maybe the wording is not like the best, like how I would say, but I feel like the range, right, in between like who you consider to be your ace, right, like your most technically talented person, and the one who maybe is not technically there, like with that one person, and I guess maybe I am assuming like skills meaning like what would be necessary for performance, right, like. Singing, dancing, stage presence, all of that, and not necessarily outside of that, which could be like variety stuff, which I think is a different level of kind of skill.
Yeah.
Let's focus today's discussion on like being an idol in K-pop specifically.
Oh, so encompassing also that as well?
Oh no, not variety. I'm saying like
Okay.
on the stage, performance,
Performance.
singing, all that stuff. Additionally, this take was submitted by our mod Yocab many moons ago, long time ago. We are finally getting to it.
Thank you.
Personally, here's how I feel, right?
Okay.
Let's think about a group of people. If you like a person very much,
Yes.
let's say you go in with nothing of an expectation, no negative, no positive, you go in blank, and you really like a person in a group of people, you're pleasantly surprised. But let's say if you don't like a person very much, oh my goodness, it's a big oof. Oh man, that memory just stays with you forever. It's always better to be being pleasantly surprised is like a cherry on top. While like if there's one person that is the black hole, your entire meal is ruined. Like think about that. Think about that one course meal you had, guys. Like, you know, you got the appetizer, you got the salad, you got the entree, dessert. But the dessert was kind of iffy. Got that whole meal, poo.
Okay.
Okay, I'm more in the middle. Here's how I see it, right? Let's say we have a group, right? We're debuting a group, and let's say for some reason the skill levels are numeric, right? Let's say they're numeric. Let's
I'm
say
a
like,
level 8 paladin.
let's say your average run-of-the-mill idol, like, you know, not the main person, your average like 4th, 5th best person in the group is like a 75, right? They're just kind of there.
Okay.
And if we have a group, let's say one member's like a 40 and one member's like 100, right? That's basically what we're saying. What's more important? What do you want in a group? Would you rather have all 75s and 150? Or would you rather have all 75s and 100? I get that, like, if we have a member who's so bad, right? And they're only in the group because of some weird circumstances, or let's say we're in a shady company and someone bribed their way into this group, right? And they're horrendous. They're just kind of there. That would take away a lot from the group. Let's be honest here, right? That would be kind of noticeable. At the same time, though, on the other side, I think a lot of groups are defined by their best person, right? So that's what leaves me a little bit confused, because I sometimes think of groups and I'm like, I really know this group because this one person is so good and everyone else is just like, they're good, but, you know, the one person's ridiculous.
Yes, but I've seen many cases, and I can't name any, but I've seen many cases where there's a group, the best member is not like the best performer in the entire world, but still defines the entire group, you know, gives it a nice spice, a color, you know?
Yeah, okay. No, I see what you're saying now. Because if we think about K-pop, the gap between an average member and the best member isn't as big as what could potentially be between the average member and the worst member. Because these days in K-pop, everyone's at a pretty high level, right? When it comes to doing things. Like, there might be someone who's, like, weak in a particular area. Like someone might not be the best dancer, someone might not be the best vocalist, but you could honestly like hide some of these small deficiencies, but their average skill level is pretty high because they're normally in the group for some reason, right? There's generally a good reason. But if we have someone who's just like tone deaf and has 4 left feet for some reason, right? I don't know what we can do to shield this person, right?
Right. It's like there's a bar. There's usually a bar that everyone's at, and like by a minimum. If you're not meeting that bar, it's like painfully, very, very clear. You don't want to be that guy.
I'll give an example of someone who's not really an idol anymore. You remember in Produce Season 1, the whole storyline with Sohye and how she was really bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And although, like, let's just, like, she did get better. Let's be honest. She added, by the end of Iowa, she was a serviceable idol. But at the beginning, oh my goodness, it was bad, right? And it took, and they had a lot of group missions on that first season. And she took away so much attention for the groups based on the expectation on what she's going to do as an individual. Now, I think that is in support of the worst members more important because, like, she, at some points in the practices and stuff, was so bad that was literally the storyline. Is look how bad this girl is, right?
So yeah, do you want to be an idol?
Yeah, like that's a famous line for all time in K-pop, done by our famous Bae-Eun-jung, who's like, yeah, right. She's awesome, but
yeah.
I guess then, obviously in an ideal situation, you all K-pop groups have people of varying skill levels. Some people are really good, some people are just good, right? It's just how it is. So either you're trained well, way better than everyone else, or you're just naturally more gifted because my opinion is there's so much you can do for singing, but some of it's God-given, right?
That's true.
Or you just naturally have it through genetics. I guess what I'm saying here is I would like to think that the best member is more important, but I think the worst member could take more away, or like, in terms of what they can do for the group.
I mean, think about it this way, right? Like, let's say you're playing soccer. There's two teams playing soccer, pretty similar skill levels. At the end of the day, if it's similar teams, who makes the shoot, who gets the goal, that's kind of based on like the conditions, the luck, that kind of deal. If there's someone who is just really, really bad at the defense, boy, there's a whole hole in your wall. Like, people are just gonna attack you left and right. And at that point, that becomes the inferior point where people will try to attack when playing soccer. You know what? That's what happened.
I had another thought, right? Think about this. If we're a Nugu company, right, and we have kids in our group, and there's one kid who's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And there's another group, Nugu group, one kid who's horrific. More articles will probably be written about look how bad this kid is.
That's true.
And more attention will be given to that versus look how good this kid is.
That's
because
true.
there's a lot of very good idols.
Well, I mean, that was the storyline that Sohye kind of had, right? Because she was struggling so much because she didn't really have that background that a lot of the trainees did. So she stood out in a wrong way, but also kind of a good way because it gave her more. I mean, Mnet gave her more screen time because of that. So she was memorable, whether it's good or bad.
So it's more important.
Let's put it this way too. When I speak about the songs we always review and stuff and the groups we talk about, I always talk about floors and ceilings, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I honestly think that if we have someone who's really bad in our group, right? It not only lowers the floor, it lowers the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It lowers both, right? Because the floor means we might end up being pretty bad, right? Because this person's affecting the group. And even if this person shapes up a little bit, there's only so like we can't do the craziest choreography anymore because of this person, right? But if we have someone who's amazing, it's like, yeah, we can do crazy stuff. But even though they're amazing, there's other people who probably can't do the extreme high of what they're doing, right? But our floor's higher. So I think that the worst member, this is tough though. Who's like we're arguing semantics here. Worst member, best member. What's more important? All of it's important.
Let me play the devil's advocate though, right? You could also easily say that the best skill level member is the most important because it's not too difficult to hide the person who doesn't have a great skill level. You know, like the producer might be like, all right, maybe you can wait for the next song to have some parts.
We'll do a lift here. You can just hold them up. You don't have to dance during this section.
You can just chant a couple times, and that's your part. That might, on certain levels, if the producers feel like the vocal direction isn't going on here, that's what some people do. And at the end of the day, that is a solution. It's not the most ethical. It's not my favorite solution, but it is a solution. It's something that works. It's proven.
Yeah. This is just like a weird topic because like there's no objective answer here, and honestly, there's very few people, if any, in K-pop who are so bad that it affects the group so much, right? Like
it would be hard to think of. How should I say this? I feel like once the group has been made and once you see them perform, it's kind of hard to really be like
that bad relative to everyone else.
Yeah. I feel like the level. I mean, even nowadays, I feel like maybe you could have argued this for when choreography was not like as focused on, right? So it was mostly more on like popularity, more on like general audience perception, that kind of stuff. So I feel like maybe you could tell more, but I feel like even that is not. It's so subjective, I think, when it comes to like, could I actually tell who is the worst member? I don't know.
If it's clear, it's a problem. That's my takeaway.
Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Now, if you think about situations like Boombaya from Produce 48, you guys remember that one?
Oh my god.
AKA Hellbaya, that thing. I think in that situation where the general skill level of most of the members in the group was very, very low. Obviously, the most important person was
Hancho-won.
Right, Hancho-won. That was her name. Yeah, Hancho-won. That girl who really brought the entire level up. Obviously, I think that's clear. But at the same time, while I enjoy being pleasantly surprised while listening to music, if someone comes on and they're just very, very horrific at singing or rapping, I will be okay. My just impression of the song just flippily flops and just boom goes down.
No, yeah, I agree with
can't
you.
stop me.
If someone's amazing, you're like, oh, that was kind of cool, right? But there are other amazing people. If someone's so bad, it's such an outlier these days.
Right.
That like,
these days
you'll be like,
particularly.
oh Jesus Christ, what is this? Right?
What is this? Yeah.
All right, let us know what you think. Is the skill level of the quote unquote worst member or the skill level of the quote unquote best member more important? All right, we're at State of the Nation now. What have I been doing in the world of K-pop? Oh, okay. I know what I've been doing. I am back on the, I've been watching fan-edited videos of Luna all the time now since they've come back. You know,
really?
They produce fun contents. I like their content. Additionally, even though they haven't come out with a song recently, I'm still really into Dreamcatcher these days, you know? I find myself listening to Dreamcatcher all the time. I think we didn't give Boca the fairest shake in the world. I know you guys weren't the biggest fan of it. I think I could have argued a little bit harder for it. Took a little time for me though. I did order 2 albums recently.
Oh.
I haven't ordered stuff in a long time. I bought Twice's album because I own all of the Twice albums. I only ordered 1 copy because I ain't crazy. Although if you do that, I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm just not like that, right? It's too much money. And then I ordered the Luna album as well. And Warren and I were arguing over which cover was the best one. And I ordered the one he didn't like, so.
It was a bad cover. You're tripping.
Other than that. Okay, Twice is going to be on Studio Chum. That's kind of big. I don't think they've ever been on that channel before. You know, I really like. Yes, they're gonna. They teased it today. First time they're ever being on that channel. I think that's a big event. Because it's one of the biggest groups to ever be on there. Pretty excited for that. Overall, though, still addicted to Genshin Impact, the video game. Has been taking away from my K-pop consumption a little bit. Although I've been starting to listen to K-pop while I play that game. But the soundtrack's really good in that game, so it's conflicting. Bye, everyone. Anita, what have you been doing in the world of K-pop?
Well, not much directly in the world of K-pop, but I did want to bring up something in the world of K-dramas, kind of KTV stuff.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I was looking at some posts on our Discord on the K Variety Film section that we have the channel. Just because I like to see like what's coming out, what are people watching, and someone posted a news article saying that a book was getting an adaptation for a TV series. So the book that is being mentioned is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee.
My sister mentioned this to me.
Oh my god, it's such a great book. And what's
She said
really
the same
interesting
thing.
is that I actually read the book this past summer, and I was debating like, should I mention that in the podcast? I feel like it's not directly to like Korean entertainment. But it's a really good book, and now I get the chance to talk about it because it's getting a TV adaptation on Apple Plus. So that's the streaming website for Apple. And the cast, I believe, has been released. I saw an article, and for people who are familiar with K-dramas or have been watching quite a bit, would be familiar most with Lee Min-ho. So he's going to be in the cast. And based on the description of the adaptation, it will be filmed in English, Japanese, and Korean. So those are the languages that are going to be involved, which I'm glad because that I think keeps the integrity of the book based on like the topic. So very, very quick summary or like preview of what the book is about. Is basically, yeah. Well, I want to keep it as brief as possible because I don't want to ruin any possible readers or watchers of the series, but it deals with like a multi-generational story of Sainichi, which is kind of like the ethnic Koreans that immigrated to Japan, mostly around the time of colonial Korea under Japanese rule. So it's very, very much in the history of the region, and I think it paints a very interesting and very informational account of what it was like, what it involved, and like all the complexities to it. I think reading the book, I had some idea of what the topics was about, like what it would involve because of school. Like I had some classes that dealt into this. But I feel like the story does it even better. Like I feel like it really gives you an idea of what life might have been like, and even today, like what the struggles and complexities are for people of that ethnic background. So I think it's a really good book. If you don't want to read the book, which I think you should, definitely check out the series that's going to come out. I think it's in pre-production, so I don't know how it might get into the streaming website, into Apple Plus, but when it does, I think I will definitely check it out. So you should too.
Awesome. Yeah, my sister said it's like a really good book. Like,
yeah.
Is it about gambling?
No.
Why is it called Pachinko?
Well, okay, if you know what Pachinko is, you might have some idea of what it's going to deal with, but the name of the book is not like representative of the whole story. It's just something like a little clue of what's going to be involved. Yeah.
I can tell that you are like very hard trying not to spoil anything.
I really don't.
For those of you who don't know what
questions.
pachinko is, it's essentially Japanese like what is this? Slots.
Yeah.
Essentially that's what it is.
Essentially, it's a gambling thing.
Yeah. Show me the money time?
Show
me the money.
The money. Hey. Okay, here we are.
Get. Sorry.
I think we're running a little long today. So I'll keep it.
We're actually not. We're actually not.
Are we? Can I talk about Show Me the Money for 2 hours?
Sure. Talk about
No,
Swings.
no,
I heard
no.
Swings went, right? Swings did his thing?
Swings. His first round aired this week.
Oh, okay.
And you know, just like I kind of spoiled last week, he made it. Obviously. I don't think anyone was too surprised.
Moon Swings.
I think a lot of his lyrics. I hope someone found. Yeah, there was an English sub translating team, so I hope go look at the English subs. He was very his lyrics very much point to why he's on the show. You know, people doubting who he is, where he is, how he got to that point, kind of deal. And he is out there trying to prove himself again. You know, what's hip hop all about? It's about showing and proving. S&P. That's where it's all at. He's back at that core, and I think that's really respectful. I think that's really cool. That being said, we didn't get to see his second round. There were shots of him throwing the mic, just like to the back, and him screaming. And then there was another shot of him off screen crying and saying it was a failure. So, I don't know. How much do you buy into this Mnet devil's editing? I don't know.
At the same time, though, if the guy's sitting there crying, why is he crying? Right?
I know. Why is he crying? You know what? Mnet, you got me this time. You got me curious. You got me hooked. And so, spoiler alert. But apparently he went on Instagram and he's like, "Oh, I cried because the mic hit my head while I was throwing it." Which I hurts a lot, man. It's just, mics are heavy. But he's crying for a completely different reason. Besides that, this episode we got a lot of like the second round people going. That is the infamous fire pit of fire, ring of fire, hole of fire. I don't know. This time around, it's like the road of fire. What's happening is while they're rapping, instead of like staying still, their stage moves forward in this little thing of fire, and then eventually they get closer to the producers. If they make it all the way. I know it's kind of over the top, really, but whatever. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess. Go check it out. I guess. I'm saying I guess a lot. I guess. 3 people that stood out to me a lot. Was first of all was Lil Boy.
Lil Boy, yeah.
Lil Boy was on
Lil
Show Me the Way
Boy?
season 4. He is a part of a duo called Geeks, as well as one of the CEOs of Halftime Records. Great guy, great rapper, very, very skilled, very, very solid tone. Overall, very versatile, very solid man. And he has been going through a lot emotionally and mentally, because there was a lot of, diss tracks. Well, there was one by Deep Flow that was directed towards him. And people around him were like suddenly like, "Oh wait, maybe you're not hip hop anymore," and they were putting a distance towards him.
That's kind of rude.
Yeah, I know. The entire scene kind of turned their back away from Geeks and Lil Boy. That being said, I listened to Geeks music until 2014-15 when they started disappearing. Shout out to Backpack, great album. Shout out to Limelight by the other guy in Geeks, which his name is Louis. Oh, man, look at me. I got all of my names correct. I didn't even prepare. Look at me. So Lil Boy was great. He just got an all pass and he went to Zion T and Gary Boy's team, which I think great in. Another rapper that stood out to me was a first generationist called Juvie Train. Now, he's probably,
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he's probably not someone you've heard of before. He used to be in a trio called Booga Kings. I don't know if Booga Kings is still active, to be honest. But if you guys know the guy named Bobby Kim, the singer. Do you guys yes, but he's yeah.
This guy came out on Running Man before, I think.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
They were active. They were in the movement crew with Tiger JK, Epic High, Dynamic Duo. And then they kind of disappeared for a while in the later 2010s. And I kind of forgot about him, to be honest. And when he came back for Show Me the Money, I was like thinking about all the other first generation lists, like P-Type, who was on the show, One Sun, all those guys, Tigiri, who was on it, and they just made like they all got kicked out on first, second rounds. So I was worried. But then this guy comes out and just mad groovy, mad on point, just very he's like a big cannonball just rapping through his way through the beat. And I was like, man, this guy's still on it. I'm super excited to see where he goes. So go check him out. The one other guy that stood out to me was a guy just came out of nowhere. His name is Kim Mono, or Mono Kim, I guess. Apparently, he is deaf on his one ear.
Oh.
Therefore, mono, because he's.
That's where the name comes
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That being said, he just seemed like a normal guy, and I didn't have much of an expectation. But he started rapping, and he was just really, really groovy. My ideal rap style is something I can listen to just over and over again and get never bored of. That means that it can't be too skillful. It can't be too boring. it's got to be the right amount of groove, the right amount of like changes in the flow, and like it's like not too flashy, not too boring, just the right middle amount. Rappers like Beans, right? And this guy was like kind of on that lane. He's not flashy, but his lyrics are very telling. He has I think he has a very nice way of turning his narrative into lyrics, as well as his groove is just very you can just your head just keeps bobbing up and down while he's rapping, and you try not to and just keeps moving. So I think that was great. I think he is just a random guy that came out of nowhere for me that I'm super excited to see where he goes. And that were the three people that was on the show that I was very surprised about.
Are you liking this season so far?
So far I'm kind of having fun. I'm having fun.
Okay.
I'm having fun.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah. We didn't get any appearances from Changbin or any of the other idol rappers around, but I'm sure we'll get them next episode. I think they're continuing round 2 next episode, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome. All right. So to wrap up the show, Luna giveaway winners Samuel Weaver and Delmonic. If you forgot, you won. So please contact us. Next week's gonna be Crazy Town. So many releases. We will talk about those rookie groups in some capacity. Overall, though, I thought this was a really good episode. I thought it was fun. I had a lot of fun today.
Self-evaluation.
I'm just self-evaluating. I thought it was fun. I apologize once again to Aespa. It is what it is. Interesting name. But this has been SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me today. We'll see you guys next time when we cover a gajillion songs. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice Halloween. Bye.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Based, Mina, Jenai, Goku Mama, Jacob, Nalfiar, NJ Park, Nam Wilson, Tier. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erday, Malfiar, No Bias Luna, Tuggle, and Wolf297.